Good morning, everyone. So let's start with the next practice session. Today we'll be doing the chapter of deductions. So this is from your study material, page number 6.28. So maximum sections we'll be discussing it today, and the other sections which we'll not be able to discuss today, we'll be doing it tomorrow. Okay. So this is illustration number 5. It says the basic salary of Mr. A is 1 lakh rupees per month. He is entitled to dearness allowance, which is 40% of the basic salary. So 1 lakh per month is his basic salary, 40% DA is he's getting. 50% of the DA forms part of retirement benefits. Okay. So this, whatever forms part of retirement benefits, we have to take it in certain calculations. Otherwise, not really required. We have to take it in certain calculation, in calculating certain perquisites, in calculating certain deductions. Otherwise, how much is my DA? Only 40% of the basic. Yes, out of which 50% is just forming part of retirement benefits, right? It is just an information for us so that we can use it in some calculation of some allowances, calculation of some perquisites, or calculation of certain deductions. Now, both Mr. A and his employer, ABC Limited. Is he a government employee? No, he's not a government employee. He's working with ABC Limited. So both Mr. A and his employer contributes 15% of the basic salary to the pension scheme referred in 80 CCD. So they both are contributing. How much they are contributing? The employee is also contributing. The employer is also contributing. How much? 15% of the basic salary. We understand that we have deductions of 80 CCD, which is available over here. Explain the tax treatment in respect of such contribution in the hands of A if he has exercised the option of shifting out of the default tax regime. So what is the question actually asking from us? They are asking that explain the tax treatment in respect of such contribution. So this question is just asking us to actually determine or to discuss on the contribution which they are making. What is the deduction which is available? So this question is strictly asking us to compute the deductions of 80 CCD and just to tell them, right? However, just for your practice, I will not be only be discussing about the tax treatment. I'll be doing something extra. I'll be discussing with the salary, with the total income, in fact, so that everything can be revised also side by side, so that our salary chapter can be also be revised side by side. Okay. And what regime he's following? He's following optional tax regime. He's opting out from 115 BAC. What would be your answer if Mr. A pays tax under the default tax regime under 115 BAC? So this is the second part of the question. They are asking that what would be your answer if the assessee is following default tax regime? Okay. Please tell me what is the difference between optional and default tax regime as far as this chapter 6A is concerned. So we understand. See, if you follow optional regime versus if you follow default regime. So in optional regime, we get all deductions from 80C to 80U. There is no problem in optional regime. 80C to 80U, we get all the deductions. But in default regime, the assessee gets only 3 deductions, which is 80 CCD2, new pension scheme, but only one part of it, only the employer contribution, 80 CCD2. Because we understand in 80 CCD2, there are again other sections which is related to employee contribution, 80 CCD1 and 80 CCD1B. These two are related to employee contribution. We can get these deductions here in optional regime, but we don't get these deductions in default regime. In default regime, we get only 80 CCD2. Whether if here we get 80 CCD, see here in optional regime, there is no problem. You get everything. But in default, only 80 CCD2. Then we have 80 CCH2, that is for Agniveer scheme. That too only for, not CCH1, just 80 CCH2, that is employer contribution to Agniveer scheme. And 80 JJAA. These deductions are there here as well. But in default regime, we have only these 3 deductions which are there in our intermediate course. Okay. So they are asking that what would have been the change if this assessee would have been following default regime? Obviously, in that case, he will be getting only 80 CCD2. He will not be getting 80 CCD1 or 1B. So let us do this question. So I will be, in your examination, I'm again repeating, in your examination, whatever that is been asked from you, you should answer that only. So in your, as far as your examination, if this question would have been in your examination, please comment only on the tax treatment of the deductions. But since we are revising, it's a practice session which we are doing. So we are revising it entirely. I would be computing the total income. So this is illustration number 5. So illustration number 5. Now, I'm computing, for your reference, the total income. Computation of total income of Mr. A, assessment year 25-26. And let us do for the optional regime. I'll be telling you about the default regime also, because it is also asked in the question. So after that, you can leave some space. We can write for the default regime also here itself. So as of now, we are following optional regime. So what are the type of income which this assessee is earning? So he is earning salary income. I am again repeating, in your examination only deduction, in this question only deduction is asked, but I am doing some extra things. Don't do extra things in your examination. You don't have time, right? Just for your practice, that is I'm doing it. So income under the head salary. Income under the head salary. Basic salary. He's getting DNS allowance also. First of all, you should make, see, in salary, I always tell the students that first of all, make the list of all the things which you are getting from your employer. So you are getting basic salary, you are getting DNS allowance. Any other thing you are getting? No, sir, we are not getting any other thing. Sure. DNS allowance. Any other thing which your employer is giving? Yes, sir. Employer is contributing to new pension scheme. So this is also what you are getting now. So he's depositing in your new pension scheme account. So this is employer contribution. Employer contribution to new pension scheme. Correct? So these are the things which we are getting. How much was the basic salary? Basic salary, it was given 1 lakh rupees per month into 12. So I'm assuming it is 12 lakh rupees. DNS allowance. So forming part, you don't have to do forming part right now. So whatever is the DA, it is fully taxable. So it is 40% of the basic. So 40% of 12 lakh is 4,80,000. Employer contribution. How much you are contributing? See, what we are contributing is out of our salary. It is our investment. But whatever the employer is contributing, that is our income. So that is our salary income, because employer is actually giving this to us. They are contributing in our scheme account. So how much they were? So it was mentioned in the question, 15% of basic. See, it was mentioned now. They both are contributing 15% of the basic salary. Just the basic salary of 15% they are contributing. So 15% of 12 lakh, it would be 1,80,000 rupees. So you can do the total of this. 12 lakh plus 4,80,000 plus 1,80,000. So this is 18,60,000 rupees. Agree? What it is called? Gross salary. Now from gross salary, you have to give the standard deduction in the salary. How much is the standard deduction? 50,000 or 75? The 75 is in default regime, but we are following optional right now. So it is 50,000 rupees. So my salary income is 18,10,000. Agree? Now, do we have any house property, capital gain, PGBP, IFOS? No, we don't have any other income in this question. So we don't have any other income. So this will become our GTI, gross total income. Agree? Now, less deductions from GTI. We are following optional regime. So chapter 6A deductions. Less chapter 6A deductions. How much it would be? So we have from 80C to 80U, but in this question we have only 80CCD. And now in this question, 80CCD, we are following optional regime. So employee contribution as well as employer contribution deduction would be available in optional regime. So first it is section 80CCD1. You can leave three lines at least. Then section 80CCD 1B. I'm using a different color, but in your examination, you have to use either your black pen or blue pen. Only one pen, one ink is required. Please don't change your pen also. So section 80 CCD 2. So this is what? This is, you can write, this is employer contribution. This is employer contribution, and this is employee contribution. This is employee contribution. Correct? So let us first focus on 80 CCD2. How much is 80 CCD2? 80 CCD2 is a employer contribution, or B, 10% of salary. Please tell me, is it 10% or 14%? Is it 10% or 14%? Had it been default regime, it would have been 14%, not 10%. Right? In optional regime, it is only 10%. But yes, if the assessee is a central government or state government employee, in optional regime also, it was 14%. We have to take 14% in case of central or state government employee in optional regime also. But if he is any other employee, then 10% only. Got it? The basic salary was 1 lakh into 12 into 15%. Guys, 12 lakh into 15%. We have already calculated it somewhere, no? How much it was? 1,80,000. Okay. Everyone, Subiksha, Sugandha, Smriti, everyone, please tell me. Guys, I have to take 10% of the salary, or I should take 14% of the salary?
10% of.
Why not 14%?
He is non-government employee, sir. So
Correct. See, correct. There are two things. First of all, 14% is under the default regime. So if this would have been default regime, I would have taken 14% of the salary. In optional regime, it is 10% also, but correct, Vignesh, 14% only for central government and state government employees, right? It is 14% only for central government and state government employees, but for other employees under optional regime, it is 10% only. And if you will look at it, this guy is not a government employee. He is working with ABC Limited. So under optional regime, we have to take only 10%. Everybody is okay with this? So 10% of the salary. And also please tell me that what do we include in the value of salary over here? What do we include salary? Salary here means basic salary plus DA forming part of retirement benefits. Only that DA which forms part of retirement benefits. So here it would be 10% of, it would be 10% of salary, and salary would be basic salary plus DA forming part. Plus DA forming part. So 10% of what? 10% of basic salary is 12 lakh. 10% or DNS allowance is 4,80,000, and out of which only 50% was forming part. Do you remember in the question it was 50% of the forming part? So it would be 12 lakh plus 2,40,000 into 10%. Guys, how much it is?
1,44,000.
1,44,000. Whichever is lower. So 80 CCD2 limit would be whichever is lower, 180 or 144. So we will be getting 1,44,000. I'm shifting it over here. So this would be 1,44,000. Guys, is there any limit of 1,50,000 on 80 CCD2, or there is no such limit? Is there, it is under the cap of 1,50,000, or there is no such limit? Yes, there is no such limit. It is only in 80 CCD1, which is restricted to 150, and it shares 150 with other two sections. What are those two sections? 80C and 80 triple C and 80 CCD1, this section CCD1. These three combined together cannot go beyond 1,50,000. Are you able to recall this provision also? So ATC, ATCCC, ATCCD1, all three together cannot go more than 1,50,000 rupees. Okay. Now, so CCD2 is 1,44,000. CCD1 and CCD1B, I always recommend students just first of all calculate ATCCD1B first because it is easy to calculate and you will not make mistakes also by this method. So let us calculate ATCCD1B. See, these two are employee contribution. So let us calculate this ATCCD1B because it is easy. So it is lower of the following. How much it is? Employee contribution.
Or 50,000.
Employee contribution. Vignesh, you are saying anything?
Sir, or 50,000.
Correct, Subiksha. So employee contribution to new pension scheme or rupees 50,000, whichever is lower. So there is a limit of 50,000 only. So how much is the employee contributing? Employee was also contributing the similar amount. So we have seen 15% of the basic salary. So 1,80,000 employees contributing or 50,000 rupees, whichever is lower. So we will be getting a deduction of 50,000 from here. Got it? So it is easy. So now employee contribution, now only ATCCD1 is left. So how much is ATCCD1? There are actually three limits to it, A, B, C. First of all, there is an overall limit of 1,50,000 rupees. There is an overall limit of 1,50,000 rupees. But this 1,50,000, it shares with ATC or ATCCC. Although in this question, we don't have ATC or ATCCC, but had it been there, what I would have done? Minus ATC minus ATCCC. I would have subtracted 1,50,000 from what? ATC and whatever the deduction which you have taken from ATC, ATCCC, I would have subtracted it from 1,50,000 rupees. But in this case, we don't have ATC, it is 0. ATCCC is also 0. So maximum deduction I can go is 1,50,000 over here. Got it? Second is employee contribution. Now, how much is the employee contributing? Employees contributing 1,80,000. We have seen that employees contributing 15% of basic, that is 180. But out of 180, we have already taken a deduction of 50,000 because they both are employee contribution. So we have already taken the deduction of 50,000. So employee contribution, remaining employee contribution is left is 1,30,000. Are you okay with this 130?
Yes, sir.
How I got it? Because employee contribution was 1,80,000. 50,000 I have already taken it in ATCCD1B. Now I am left with 1,30,000. And C is 10% of salary. Salary means the same thing. Please tell me, it is 10% of salary. Is it 14% of the salary? No, it is 10% of the salary only. So 10% of the salary would be how much? We have already computed it earlier. It was 1,44,000. Now, whichever is lower, tell me whichever is lower, how much it is? 130. So these are the three deductions which would be available to us. So from 18,10,000, we will deduct 130, 50 and 144. The total deduction is this and my total income will come as
14,86,000.
14,86,000. Are you okay with this? Now they are asking us that what would have been the change if the assessee is following default regime. So I'm just doing it right here. In case the assessee is following the default regime, it would have been, what would be the change? See, gross salary would have been 18,60,000 only, but the deduction would be 75,000 here. So my salary income would have been 17,95,000. Are you okay with this? 95 or 85? 85,000.
5,000.
17 lakh 85,000. My GTI is 17 lakh 85,000. Now, 80 CCD1 I will not get. 80 CCD1B I will not get. 80 CCD2 I will get. Should I write 1,44,000 over here? 80 CCD2? The answer is actually no. Why no? Because in default regime, this 10% is now increased to 14%. So please remember, in default regime, now it is 14%. So what I should do, A is employer contribution, this is 1,80,000. B is 14% of salary, this salary only, 12 lakh plus 2 lakh 40,000, 14 lakh 40,000 into 14.4 lakh into 14%.
2,01,600.
Correct. 2,01,600. So 1,80,000 or 2,01,600, whichever is lower. So how much it would be? 1,80,000. So 1,80,000 would have been the deduction over here. So it is not 144. 144 is an optional regime, but in default regime it is 180. So 1780 minus 180.
16,05,000.
So 16,05,000 would have been my total income under default tax regime. Are you all okay with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Done, everyone? Should we switch to the next question?
Sir, can you show that 10% of what salary it is?
10% of the gross salary. Where, Subiksha?
Sir, the last line, employer's contribution, 80 CCD2. It says 12 lakhs plus 2,40,000.
Basic salary plus DA forming part. So half of the DA forming part, 50%. So basic salary was 12 lakh in this case. See, it was 12 lakh in this case. And DA forming part, see, DA is 480, 50% of which is forming part. So I have taken 12 lakh and 240.
Okay, sir.
So it is 14,40,000 into 10%. 1,44,000. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Everybody done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us come to question number next illustration. What we take? Do you want to revise ATC also? Okay, let us quickly do this. Illustration number 6. The gross total income of X for the assessment year 25-26 is 8 lakh rupees. So the GTI is 8 lakh rupees. This is the GTI. He has made the following investment and payments during the financial year 24-25. Contribution to PPF is 1,10,000. Guys, contribution to PPF, where we will get the deduction ATC. Okay, first of all, let us see that which regime this assessee is following. Because if the assessee is following default regime, we will not get ATC or ATCCC, etc. So compute the eligible deduction under chapter 6A. If X is exercised the option of shifting out, so it's safely he is following optional regime. Okay. Now please tell me contribution to PPF. We understand it is ATC. Payment of tuition fees to APJ School, New Delhi for education of his son studying in class 11. Guys, which deduction it is? Under which section? Same, ATC. Correct? So it is the tuition fees for his son. Had it been grandson, then can we get ATC for the grandson or granddaughter? No. It is only for the child. The child can be a child everywhere in the income tax. Child includes adopted child also, stepchild also. But it should be the child. It should be the child. So for grandson or granddaughter, we will not get it. But only for the children, we can get it. So this is 45,000. And this should be a full-time education in India. It should not be outside India. So it should be in India, a full-time education. If it is a distance learning course or it's a coaching fees, etc., that will commercial coaching, etc., that will not be included. So school, college, etc., that will be included. So again, 80C would be there. Repayment of housing loan taken from Standard Chartered Bank. Guys, where we will get this repayment of housing loan?
80C, sir.
80C deduction, repayment of housing loan. Now they have not mentioned that for what purpose the loan is. So generally we assume that the housing loan is generally for the purpose of purchasing the house, acquisition or construction. Generally it is a fair assumption. Even you don't have to mention, it is a fair assumption that the housing loan is taken for purchase or for construction purpose, and it is allowed in 80C. Please tell me, in case this housing loan is taken for the purpose of repairs, renovation, reconstruction, then it will not be allowed. So repayment of only housing loan is allowed. That too, it should be for only and only for the purpose of acquisition of the house, that is purchase, or for construction of the house. Then only it is allowed. If this would have been renovation of the house, reconstruction, I'm using the word reconstruction of the house, then no, 80C would not be there. But in this case, nothing is mentioned, so we'll assume that it is for construction only. 80C would be there as well. Contribution to approved pension fund of LIC. It is new pension scheme? No, it is just approved pension fund. So approved pension fund of any insurance company is 80CCC. So 80CCC, we will get this reduction. Okay. So this is 80C, first three, and the last one is 80CCC. Now, if we will do the total of these all, we understand 80C, 80CCC, 80CCD1 cannot go beyond 1,50,000. But here we don't have 80CCD1, but we have 80C and 80CCC, and it cannot go beyond 1,50,000. So the total deduction, you can add them up, but you cannot give. First, if you want, you can add 80C deduction. The assessee would like to claim 110 plus 45 plus 25. How much it is? 70? 180. So 180 he will not be able to get. Maximum it would be restricted to 1,50,000. And 80CCC he will not be able to get 0. Why? He will be getting 0. Why? Because already 1,50,000 limit has been exhausted by 80C. So total deduction which we will be getting is 150. So I'm not doing it. I believe that it is easy. You can easily do this. Correct?
Yes, sir.
D, I would like to discuss one of the question. 7th is 80D. 8th, I would like to take 8th. 8th is a better question. Okay. Everyone. Mr. Y, if you have the study material, this is page number 6.38. Illustration number 8. Mr. Y, age 40 years, paid medical insurance premium of 22,000 rupees during the previous year 24-25. So he paid medical insurance premium. Has he paid life insurance? Life insurance is 80C. Medical insurance is 80D. So he is 40 years of age. He is not a senior citizen. To ensure his health as well as the health of his spouse and dependent children. Okay. 22,000 rupees is for himself, for his spouse and dependent children. What do we know about 80D? We know that in 80D, this is divided into two categories. 80D. One is for self, spouse. Spouse can be dependent, non-dependent, no issues. Children. His children in 80D should only be dependent children. If they are independent, it is not, they are not covered. In 80C, for life insurance, dependent, non-dependent, both type of children are covered. But in 80D, only dependent children are covered. So self, spouse and dependent children, the limit is 25,000 for the total limit is 25,000 for this category. In case the assessee is a senior citizen or the wife is a senior citizen, then this limit can increase to 50,000 rupees. Correct? So this is 25,000 here, because here in this question he is 40 years of age, and I'm presuming that his wife would be similar age. So 25,000 rupees is the maximum limit. And for parents, whether brother and sister is also included over here? No. Only parents. And parents here can be dependent also, can be non-dependent also. They can be independent also. They both are covered. And here the limit for them is also 25,000 rupees. But yes, if the parents are senior citizen, or any of the parent is a senior citizen, then this limit will increase to 50,000 rupees. Correct? So in this case, for self, spouse and children, the limit would be 25,000. And if their parents are senior citizen, then it will go to 50,000 rupees. This insurance amount should not be paid in cash. It should not be paid in cash. However, if the assessee has incurred expenses related to preventive health checkup, they can be allowed in cash. That cash is allowed, but there is a internal limit of 5,000 rupees for preventive health checkup. And for preventive health checkup, the total limit of this category and this category both together is 5,000 rupees. And 5,000 is not the extra limit. It is within this limit only, because you cannot exceed anyways. Here you cannot go beyond 25 or 50 as the case may be. Here you cannot go beyond 25 or 50 as the case may be. As the case may be means senior citizen. But yes, there is an internal limit of 5,000 rupees for preventive health checkup. Sir, 5,000 for here, 5,000 for here. No. 5,000 for the total. 5,000 for both of them. Right? And that too, it is the within this overall limit. It is not additional limit. It is within this overall limit. And preventive health checkup can be paid in cash. Okay. Now, so 22,000 he is paying over here. So 22,000 he is paying over here. So as of now, we don't have any issue with 22,000. Why? Because 25,000 is allowed. 22,000 he is paying for self, spouse and dependent children. We are okay with this. Now, he also paid medical insurance premium of 33,000 during the year to ensure the health of his mother, age 67 years, who is not dependent on him. He's also paid medical insurance premium of 33,000 during the year to ensure his mother, who is 67 years of age. His mother is a senior citizen, 60 years or more. So now we can go up till 50,000, but he is paying only 33,000 for his dependent, who is not dependent on him, does not matter. Father or mother can be dependent or non-dependent in 80D. And what about 80C? In 80C for life insurance, father or mother can be dependent or non-dependent. Father and mother are not covered there in 80C. Correct? Whether dependent, non-dependent. In 80C for life insurance, only assessee is for a spouse or children. Children dependent, non-dependent, they are only covered. Parents are not covered in 80C. But in 80D, both types of parents are covered, dependent or non-dependent. Are you okay with this? Guys, are you okay with this? Now, so he incurred 33,000 for his mother. 33,000 we can take it, because why? Because now her mother is a senior citizen, so we'll not take 25, we'll take 50. But he is paying 33,000 over here. We can take this 33,000. Now, he incurred medical expenditure of 20,000 on his father, age 71 years, who is not covered under the Mediclaim policy. So what he has done is, for his father, who is again a senior citizen, 71 years of age, and he has incurred medical expenses. Whether medical expenses are also allowed in 80D, because in 80D generally health insurance is allowed, medical insurance is allowed. Whether expenses are also allowed, the answer is yes. If the assessee or their parents are senior citizen and they are not able to get the medical insurance, or they don't have the medical insurance, even medical expenses are allowed. So here medical expenses are also allowed, and it is mentioned that who is not covered under the Mediclaim policy. So his father does not have a Mediclaim policy. So for them, medical expenses are also allowed. How much? 20,000 rupees can also be allowed. So if I allow 20,000, 33,000 is going for mother, 20,000 is going for father. So it will become 53, but we have to restrict to 50,000 rupees. So we have to restrict ourselves to 50,000 rupees over here. Okay. His father is also not dependent upon him, does not matter. dependent, non-dependent, both parents are covered. He contributed 6,000 to central government health scheme during the year. So he contributed 6,000 to CGHS scheme. Whether CGHS scheme is also covered under 80D? Yes. Central government, it is also a kind of health insurance which we pay. If we are a central government employee, we can pay this to the CGHS also, central government also. It is a kind of insurance from the central government. So that is also allowed. How much it is? 6,000. So generally when we say CGHS, this is generally for the employee itself. So 6,000 can be allowed over here. So here 6,000 I'll allow over here. But if I'll claim 6,000, so what will happen? 22 plus 6, we are getting 28,000. Can we go beyond 25? No. So here maximum we have to restrict ourselves to 25,000 rupees. Now compute the deductions allowable under 80D. So I think that you can easily do this. So in 80D we will get 25,000 here and 50,000 here, 75,000. Guys, again I'm not doing this, but I believe that you will be able to do this. Is it okay?
Sir, I have
Yes,
a
sir.
doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, about that CGHS scheme, why did you say it is 80D?
About the CGSS, so Viksha, what are you asking? Can you please repeat it?
So CGHS scheme, you
Right.
said it's also included in 80D.
Correct.
I don't remember studying it. sir,
Okay,
that's
okay,
why.
okay. See, in 80D, 80D is generally, originally, it was for medical insurance. It was for medical insurance. Medical insurance has different names. So you can get it by the name of health insurance also. You can get it by the name of accidental insurance also. Accidental insurance. Generally, they use the term medical insurance or health insurance. Accidental insurance, they generally don't use it, but accidental insurance is also a health insurance. If somebody will meet with accident, they can get it hospitalized and get the bills reimbursed from the insurance company. So generally they use medical or health insurance. So they are covered in 80D. Second, preventive health checkup is also covered. You are okay with this preventive health checkup?
Sure.
This is also covered and this can be paid in cash up to 5,000 rupees. If the assessee, spouse, parents are senior citizen and they don't have the medical insurance policy, even their medical expenditure are covered. You are okay with this also.
Yes,
Next
sir.
is central government health scheme. See, the name itself suggests CGHS. So what is CGHS is? Let's say, for example, you are a central government employee and government also provides you the facility that you can get your insurance done with them. You don't have to approach any other insurance company. In fact, if you do the insurance with them, you have to pay very less amount, very less amount, and you will get a good amount of insurance, right? So it is a benefit to the government employees. So instead of taking insurance from outside, they actually contribute to the insurance policy of the government itself, which government has termed the name Central Government Health Scheme. So you can understand it like this, that it is nothing but a kind of insurance. And who is the insurance company? The central government itself. They are providing you the insurance. So this is called CGHS. Got it? So this is also
Sure.
covered in 80D because it is nothing but as a kind of insurance, which is, and here the insurance company is none other than government itself. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So CGHS is also covered in 80D. Good. So I'm not doing it. I believe that you will be able to do 25,000 here, so 50,000 here, 75,000 we can take the deduction. Okay. I would like to touch maximum sections today and tomorrow so that you can revise them. This is illustration number 14. I would like to go. See, 80E, I'm not taking off 80E education loan. If you remember education loan you can take for assessee can take for themselves, for the spouse, for brother, sister, for their children, for any student for whom he is legally entitled to. So it is for the higher education. This higher education should be in India or outside India also. It could be outside India also. See, in 80C, tuition fees, that should be in India. But 80E education loan can be outside India also. So if let's say Assessi's son is going to Australia to pursue any higher education, let's say MBA he's doing from Australia, so he can send the son there, and for them, if he has taken a loan, so the interest is allowed under 80E. So 80E says that any education after class 12th. So it could be a bachelor degree, it could be master's degree, or it could be any full-time education after class 12th, where only the interest portion is allowed. What about the principal repayment of the education loan? No. Principal repayment will not allow. So principal repayment will allow in 80C? No. In 80C, it is only just the housing loan interest, not the education loan interest. So it is only the housing loan repayment, not the education loan repayment. So education loan repayment or any other loan repayment, we will not get the deduction. But for the interest for education loan, we can get it. So here, if the assessee has taken a loan for, let's say assessee is B, for himself, for his son, for his daughter, all three are allowed. What here he is doing, MBA, okay, BSc, okay. Anything after class 12 is okay. BA is okay. Amount of the loan, amount of repayment of the loan, no. We are concerned with interest of the loan. So 20,000, 10,000, 18,000, they all can be allowed. Is there any limit of 80E? No, there is no such internal limit. So whatever is the interest can be allowed. But yes, we cannot go beyond GTI. That we all know. Chapter 6 say altogether cannot go beyond GTI. So let's say my GTI is 10 lakh. I cannot take the deduction 11 lakh, 12 lakh. Correct. The maximum I can take is 10 lakh only. But there is no such internal limit of 80E. So I believe everybody is okay with 80E. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let us take a little bigger question. Illustration number 14. This is page number 6.57 of the study material. Illustration number 14. It says, Shiva, age 58 years, has GTI of 7,75,000. So Shiva has a GTI, he is not a senior citizen, guys. He has a GTI of 775, comprising of income from salary and house property. He has made the following payments under investment. Okay, comprising income of salary and house property. Can you also please tell me that this chapter 6 is not allowed from which type of income? Can we take, okay, I'll ask you this way, that if we have long-term capital gain, any long-term capital gain, it could be 112, it can be 112A. 112A is long-term equity shares or equity-oriented unit sold on stock exchange, or normal 112. Normal 112 is all other long-term capital gain. Can we take 80C to 80U from long-term capital gain or not? If let's say your assessee, your client has a long-term capital gain of rupees 30 lakh, let's say there is no other income, he has a long-term capital gain of 30 lakh, 30. He is following optional regime. And he comes to you and he says that, sir or ma'am, I am paying life insurance premium. Can you give the deduction under 80C from long-term capital gain income or not? Please tell me. Lalu is saying no.
No, sir.
Correct. So deduction we can give only from the normal income. We cannot give from the special income. So there is no deduction which can be given from long-term capital gain. From short-term capital gain, 111A is special. Only 111A is special. What is 111A? 111A is what? Short-term capital gain on equity shares or equity-oriented unit. So that is 111A. So 111A is again a special income. We cannot give it from here. We cannot give from long-term capital gain. We cannot give it from the casual income. So these are mainly some of our main special income. So we cannot give deductions from these. So we can give deductions from other income, normal income. Normal income can be salary, house property, PGBP, other short-term capital gain, other IFOS, which is not casual, we can give it. So just remember it this way, that from special income, we cannot give any deduction. So they have mentioned that this guy, income is from salary and house property. So there is no such problem. We can give the deductions from that. Okay. What we need to compute in this question, compute the total income of Mr. Shiva if we exercise the option of shifting out of the default tax regime. So we need to compute his total income under optional regime. Okay. So let us do this question. First of all, let me read these. Premium paid to insure the life of his major daughter. Policy taken on 1/4/2018. Assured value is 180. Amount is 20,000. Okay. Please tell me first of all under which section we will get this deduction. Premium paid for life insurance. Is it health insurance or life insurance? Life insurance. Please tell me. Life insurance is ATC deduction. Okay. So ATC maximum we know we can go up till 1,50,000. Okay. But is there any limit on the life insurance also? Any internal limit of the life insurance also? Yes. There is an internal limit. How much it is? So it depends upon the date of the policy. It depends on the date of the policy. So generally, if you don't remember the date, generally 90% of the cases, you can take 10% of the sum assured. So maximum is 10% of the sum assured. But if you remember the date also, in the classes I have given you the date, just remember one date, 1st April 2012. If the policy is before 1st April 2012, then 20%. After that, 10%. After that, 10%. For 1 year, for next 1 year from 2012 till 31st March 2013, it is 10% for all the policies. But after 1 year, actually they changed for the people who are physically handicapped, deaf, blind or dumb. 15% for them. Otherwise, 10%. So please tell me this policy is taken after 2012. So how much percentage we will assign to this policy? 10%. So assured value is 180 and he has paid 20,000 rupees. Can we give 20,000 or maximum 18,000 only? Maximum 18 only. Got it? Next. Medical insurance for self 12,000, spouse 14,000. Guys, which deduction is talking of? Tell me. Medical insurance premium. Tell me the section. 80D. Okay, for self and spouse. So what's the age of the assessee? He is not a senior citizen, 58 years of age. Please tell me for self and spouse is one category only? Self, spouse, dependent children.
Maximum 25,000.
Correct. 12 and 14, it is going 26. We can't go till 26. We can go till 25,000 only. Okay. Donation to public charitable institution 50,000 by way of check. Please tell me where we can claim this deduction. Donation to public charitable institution.
80G.
80G. How much? How much we can claim?
So 50% of this or 50% of the
Qualifying
balance
limit.
amounts.
Okay, got it. So see, where in 80G we have seen that there are 4 parts actually. In first part, these are mainly national funds, etc. National Defense Fund, National Children Fund, National Sports Fund, etc. Where it is 100%. Whatever is the amount donated, 100%. Without any limit, 100%. Second, it was just one. It was Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund. It was just one Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund where it is just 50%. Whatever is the amount you have donated, 50% of that you will get the deduction. Third one is 100% of the amount donated or 100% of the qualifying limit, whichever is lower. So 100% of the amount donated, and where you can donate this amount mainly to those institutions which are in the promotion of family planning. Those institutions you have donated the amount, right? And the fourth one can be other approved institutions like NGOs or any other approved institutions. You can give it here for renovation of any notified temple, mosque, church, gurudwara, etc. You can give the deduction. And here the fourth one is actually 50% of the amount donated or 50% of the qualifying limit, whichever is lower. So 50% of the qualifying limit. And in fact, if you have taken the deduction of any limit over here, so we have to say 50% of the remaining qualifying limit. What is the qualifying limit? Qualifying limit is equal to 10% of the adjusted GTI. 10% of the adjusted GTI. What is adjusted GTI? Adjusted GTI is GTI minus long-term capital gain minus 111A minus all deductions from 80C to 80U except 80G. So that we'll be doing it. So here we will get 50% of the amount donated, 50% of this amount, or 50% of the qualifying limit. Life LIC pension fund 60,000. Guys, where? LIC pension fund. It is not pension scheme. Pension scheme is new pension scheme is 80CCD. It is a pension fund of any insurance company 80CCC. So 80CCC we will get this deduction. Okay. Donation to National Children Fund 25,000 by way of check. National Children Fund. Please tell me where we can take this deduction. 80G, and this is National Children Fund, 100% of the amount donated. Donation to Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund. This is 50% of the amount donated. Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund, second box. Donation to approved institution for promotion of family planning, 40,000 by way of check. This is third box, 100%. This is donation to approved promotion for family planning. So this is third box, 100% of the amount donated, 100% of the qualifying limit. Deposit in PPF. Guys, deposit in PPF is what? 80? Tell me.
C.
80C. Public Provident Fund is 80C. Now we need to compute the total income of Mr. Shiva. So let us do with me. So mainly this question is more of for 80G. Illustration number 14. Computation of total income of Mr. Shiva. Assessment year 25-26. He is following optional regime. Okay. Now, his gross total income is given to us. How much is gross total income? 7,75,000. Less. Chapter 6 deductions. Chapter 6 deductions. So we have 80C deduction over here. 80C deduction is this one. Life insurance for the daughter. Major daughter does not matter. 80C is for both type of children, dependent, non-dependent. And then we have 80D here, 80. Then we have 80CCC over here. 80G, 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 80C over here in PPF. So we have two 80C, PPF and life insurance premium for major child. So this is life insurance of daughter. How much it is? 18,000. So how it is 18,000? It is maximum 10% of sum assured. Sum assured was 1,80,000. 10% of sum assured is 180. And second deduction is PPF. It is 1 lakh. So 80C deduction is 1,18,000. Everybody is okay with this? 1,18,000.
Yes, sir.
Now, second deduction is section 80CCC deduction. LIC pension fund. LIC pension fund. And how much it is? It is 60,000. Please tell me how much we can take.
32,000.
How much we can take? Can we take 60,000 entirely, or we can't take 60,000? Because we understand
Sir, we
80
should take
triple
the
C.
balance.
Correct. So 80 triple C shares their limit with 80C and 80 CCD1. CCD1 is not there, but 80C is there. And we have already exhausted from out of 150, 1,18,000 has already been taken by 80C. So now for 80 triple C, how much is left? Only 32,000 is left. So maximum 1,50,000 with 80C. So we can go maximum up till 32,000 only. I believe there is no doubt on this. Now, first we have done, last we have done. Then it is second is 80D. Medical insurance for self and spouse. It was 12,000 and 14,000, 26,000. But maximum we can go is 25,000. Correct? Then 80C,
Yes, sir.
80 triple C, 80D we have done. 80G, guys, I would suggest, because you have to calculate your adjusted GTI also, you have to calculate your qualifying limit also. So 80G should be done at the last. First, give all the reductions, then do 80G at last. So let us see that if there is any other deduction is left. So first we are done, second we have done, fourth also we have done, third is regarding 80G, fifth is regarding 80G, sixth is 80G, seventh is 80G. There is no other deduction which is left apart from 80G. So this is the last one. So we can take it now, 80G. So section 80G deduction. Now let us see that how much deductions we can get. So first quadrant is 100% of amount donated, where we are donating it. Third portion is public charitable institution. It is not 100%. Donation to National Children Fund, it is 100%. So fifth we can take National Children Fund. How much? 100%, 25,000. Any other 100%? No. Fifth we are done. Then Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund, sixth, it is 50% of the amount donated. Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund, 50% of the amount donated, and it would be 25,000 we have done. So we will get only 50% of 25,000, 12,500. Then donation to approved institution for promotion of family planning, 40,000 rupees. For promotion of family planning, it is A or B, whichever is lower. It is 100% of amount donated, or 100% of qualifying limit. whichever is lower. So what is 100% of the amount donated? 100% of the amount donated is 40,000 we have donated. So 100% of 40,000 is 40,000 only. %100% of the qualifying limit. What is qualifying limit? Qualifying limit is equal to 10% of adjusted GTI. What is adjusted GTI? GTI minus long-term capital gain, 111A, short-term capital gain, not all short-term, 111A, minus all deductions from 80C to 80U except 80G. So GT, it is 10% of adjusted GTI. Adjusted GTI is GTI 7,75,000 minus all deductions from 80C to 80U. So all deductions subtracted, 775 minus 80C minus 80CCC minus 80D. Right? Should I subtract these two also? No. Except 80G, subtract everything. So from this, I will subtract all these three. So 10% of 7,75,000 minus 80C 1,18,000 minus 80CCC 32,000 minus 80D 25,000. No other deductions. So my qualifying limit would be
6 lakh.
6 lakh.
50,000.
6 lakh. So qualifying limit is 10% of 6 lakh is 60,000 rupees. 10% of this 6 lakh is 60,000 rupees. So now promotion for family planning is 100% of the amount donated 40,000. 100% of the qualifying limit 60,000 into 100% is 60,000. Whichever is lower. So we will get 40,000 from here. So 250, 12,500, 40,000 from here. One more is left, which is donation to public charitable institution, 50,000. Public charitable institution A, 50% of amount donated. So how much is 50% of the amount donated? We have donated 50,000 rupees. 50,000 into 50%. 50% of 50,000 is 25,000. Or 50%, B is 50% of remaining qualifying limit. Okay, 50% of the remaining qualifying limit. What is remaining qualifying limit? So 50% of remaining qualifying limit. How much was the qualifying limit? We have calculated the qualifying limit at 60,000. Adjusted GTI was 6 lakh. Qualifying limit is 10% of adjusted GTI. So 10% of 6 lakh is 60,000. Qualifying limit was 60,000. And have we exhausted any qualifying limit out of 60? Have we taken any deduction? Yes, we have taken deduction of 40,000 rupees. So we only use, see, in 80G, how I have actually told you in the classes, in 80G, there are 4 quadrants. First, it is just 100%. It is to national funds, etc. It is directly going money to almost to the government. So it is 100% without any limit. Without any limit, it is 100%. Second is Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund. It is 50% of the amount donated without any limit. These limits are only here in third one and in fourth one. So what is the total limit over here? 60,000. Qualifying limit is 60,000. How much we have already taken in third? We have already taken 40,000 in third. So how much is the remaining qualifying limit? 20,000. So have you understood how I am getting 20,000? Because my qualifying limit was 60 and 40,000 was already exhausted in the third box. So for my fourth box, only 20,000 qualifying limit is available. So 50% of remaining qualifying limit is 10,000 rupees. Whichever is lower. So 50% of the amount donated, 50% of the remaining qualifying limit. Remaining qualifying limit is 20. 50% of that is 10. So I will get whichever is lower, 10,000. So this is now 25,000, 12,500, 40,000 and 10,000. Is it 87,500? Do the total. 87,500. Now, from this GTI, you can subtract these deductions. You will get your total income. Correct? So I'm not doing the calculations. You can do this. This way you will get the total income. Everybody's okay with this ATG? So there are some more questions which I would like to discuss, but that we have to continue it now tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. Any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Bye bye
Thank
bye.
you, sir.
Thank you, sir.